We're the raid group from Darlington. We spent the last year raising awareness on HIV and AIDS. This is our story.
We live in the northeast, so AIDS is like a rising problem for us, and we thought that travelling to Lesotho we could see the problems of HIV, maybe how they contract it, and the fact that we wanted to address the stigma which is attached to it in Darlington and around our area. People know it's happening, but people don't think it's happening to them specifically. We wanted to raise awareness to people and say you can get this disease. It's not an African disease, it's not a gay community disease, it happens to anyone no matter culture, creed.
We've got the whole live for the weekend culture, and I think the more people going out and drinking at the weekends, they're less likely to be safe if they do end up having sex at the end of the night, and obviously that's a big risk, not only for HIV but for other sexually transmitted diseases.
I want to be in that film. Do you know the lasses who played it? I really like that film. I haven't seen it, but when you be
It doesn't fit in like Michelle looks like, I didn't like it.
I didn't like it. I was like, oh,
It's not just sadness, feeling let down from all the times that life hurt you.
I think for me it was the fact that I've always wanted to travel, and I just didn't realise that I'd get the chance of doing it when I was like so young, but it looked like a really good opportunity.
Another thing really is the stigma that's attached to it. It's the same here as it is in Lesotho. It's like a lot of people won't get tested because they think they're going to bring shame on the family, that sort of thing. And here it's more they won't get tested because they're embarrassed. And it's the same sort of thing, like in both places, the stigma is a big problem.
We speak on behalf of the Rape Group to say we feel incredibly privileged to be part of this experience. We hope to have an influence on the young people in Darlington and change people's perceptions of the issue with HIV AIDS.
Whilst in Lesotho, part of our trip is to work with the R Group, which stands for Youth Against HIV and AIDS. We hope to learn a lot from them and bring that back to Darlington.
A lot of young people are orphaned, and that brings a lot of problems on its own because these young people grow up being looked after by some well-wishers or some aunties, uncles who are not directly related to them like a mother and father. And sometimes this brings a lot of exploitation. And the teachers were saying most of the students in the schools are experiencing these problems because when they are being exploited, they have no one to turn to because the people who are looking after them are the ones who are exploiting them. This involves teachers as well.
Okay, it's looking a lot more positive now, so I haven't got to worry with that now. Every time we give some money to you give the money to us, okay, can you update Grace as well as?
There are a lot of things that I've learnt from working with the issues about HIV and AIDS. There's a big difference between learning something within this culture rather than going to another culture. Through my experience of going to Lesotho, I've learnt a lot more than I would just staying in England.
Right, thank you very much.
The young culture, you can see when we went there, they really wanted to do something. They weren't oblivious like their mums and dads, and they were happy discussing sex. And maybe the culture's changing a little to more, less traditional values, to more, being aware.
One of the main things that I learned was that there's a lot of similarities between Lesotho and England with the issues that they face, not just about HIV and AIDS, but other social issues as well, such as drugs and alcohol.
I think also everyone has like their own individual story to tell with HIV.
If I
I could turn back the hands of time, undo the hurt, unbind these binds caused by this deep wound in my heart. This intimidation of my soul, the spear that has cut through the deepest vessel that supplied me with satisfaction. If only I could untwist this.
This is a young girl from Malapo High School. The poem she's reciting is about being raped when she was younger. She contracted HIV through her rapist. The poem is about her experience, how she feels about it and how she likes to let out her feelings.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I think what also was also shocking, how the reverse of all the promotion of AIDS and how like they try and make it so aware that it got to the point where people don't even care about it anymore because it's so in your face all the time that they're just sick of hearing about it and they're not even bothered about like wearing condoms or just being safe because they've overused AIDS so much that it just bores them. So I think that's pretty appalling.
Now, they are not talking from just reading the books or watching television. They are speaking from personal experiences, having gone there and seen for themselves young people who have been affected by AIDS and HIV. Now, when they are talking to our young people here and adults here, they speak with more confidence because they are speaking from first-hand experience.
I feel like we've got a lot of work ahead of us in terms of raising our profile even more within our communities. When we've tried like explaining to adults like in our fundraising days like at supermarkets when we were backpacking or when we were trying to sell AIDS ribbons in the town centre, a lot of people just said I don't want to know about it, it's nothing to do with me, I don't want to hear about it. So I think that's probably just because they don't know how it's contracted. Generally it used to be a thing associated with the gay community and drug users, when in actual fact it can just affect anybody in equal measures.
Once this generation is older, the younger generation at the moment, they're all informed on it. We're going to get to know about HIV. We're going to get this under control.